Hi guys! I recently did an interview with Stephanie from Swiss Education Consulting. Stephanie used to be a teacher in Switzerland, but now she helps international families find a good school for their children in Switzerland. This interview was an AMA interview. That means ask me anything. So she asked us about how is it like to move to Switzerland without knowing any German and then moving into Swiss public school. By the way, this is not a sponsored video. We just want to help Stephanie help more international families. Check out this interview. I hope you like it.
Hi, my name is Stephanie from Swiss Education Consulting, and I have the great pleasure today to interview two young men who arrived in Switzerland just, I think, under 2 years ago, Jalen and Max. And I actually came across their videos. They have produced some amazing videos on YouTube about their Swiss experience, how they got here. So I'm going to ask you, Max, at the end of this interview to tell us what your channel is called, because I think really everyone living here or relocating to Switzerland should watch it. Okay, so I would like to say grüezi, hallo, grüezi ihr beiden. Yeah, so as I'm saying, I watched your YouTube video on how you learned German in, I think, a year, and I thought, well, I think they're bragging a bit. That can't be the case, you know. And then I actually heard you talking German. I'm a German teacher, by the way, and I thought, well, actually, yes, they speak pretty fluent German. So and then I really thought, okay, I really want to interview you and ask you, how did you do that? And yeah, how was your experience with this whole learning German and the Swiss school system? Because I have a lot of families with older children who are relocating to Switzerland, and they are quite anxious about is it a bit too late to start German because my son is already 10 or my daughter is in 6th grade. I hear that she's going to end up in a really low vocational stream. So people are really quite scared. So I think it's brilliant, if they get the experience a bit from you and see what how you've been doing it and how it's been for you. So maybe you want to start by telling me just your names, how old you are, and when did you arrive here, and which grades did you start attending? So Jalen, can I start with you?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jalen. I'm 14 years old, and we moved to Switzerland 2 years ago in February.
Okay, right.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm 11 years old, and of course I did because we're brothers. So we moved from America to Switzerland in February 2 years ago.
Yeah, and obviously with no German whatsoever. So you then started by attending what is called the German integration class. That's an intensive German class. It's really quite different even in Zurich. In some districts or in some areas of Zurich, children are directly in the mainstream class. In others, they go to separate class. So it can really, really vary depending on where you live. But I think in your case, you were in a separate class. Is that right? In a separate German integration class. Okay, right. Yeah, so can you tell me maybe a bit more about how this Aufnahmeklasse, German integration class, works? So is it full days? How long are the days? How many kids and different grades together? Probably is everyone a total beginner, or are some kids there for longer? Just a bit to get an idea. If I talk to someone who's arriving and would love to know what this whole integration class is about, could you maybe just describe a bit a typical day and what does it look like? You want to start, Jalen?
Okay. Well, our class, when I first came, it was around 10, 11 kids.
Yeah.
And over time, 2 new kids came and quite a few other kids graduated. So when I left, the class only had 7 kids left.
Okay, right. And and in your case, how big was the class, Max?
It was very small. I think it was like 8. So
Yeah.
then just 8 children, and like by the time I left, we like the whole class moved and all this stuff to this different area. So I think by the time I left, it was only like 5 or 4 children in the class.
Okay, right. And so, yeah, can you just maybe describe a typical day, Jalen, or a typical week in the Aufnahmeklasse?
So I feel like during the Aufnahmeklasse, it was very flexible. The
Yeah.
teachers, I think they had a schedule of all the different subjects and how long they had to do it, but they could choose when to do it. So
Okay.
we didn't have to always follow the same exact schedule every week. Sometimes we would, if we felt like it, we would do German at some times and then math afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So, so you did do math. So you didn't do German all day. You did do all the subjects in German, or
Yeah, I think for the most part we did German, but we
yeah.
also had math, French, and English.
Uh-huh.
And in French and English, we started in English with the 3rd grade books because that's the introductory. That's when Swiss kids start learning English, and then the 5th grade book for French because that's when they start learning French.
Yeah.
And then I actually had even more time to learn German because my English is already perfect. So that helps me.
And is the communication like, is the teacher, so is it really quite strict in terms of, do you only get to speak German, or is it, because you obviously arrived with 0 German, so how's communication going? Max, can you say something about that, or?
Well, obviously the teacher's gonna only speak in German because it's not gonna like focus like only speaking in Italian, because then other people will also be left out and confused. So it's obviously just in German to like make everybody like listen to German. And like the rules are still quite strict, even though there's quite a like Eritrean and they are speaking Arabic. But like they aren't too strict, but in their class they make it so you speak German, like when you like raise your hand and answer a question.
Okay, yeah. And so what subjects did you study in your class? So how would a typical day look in your class, Max?
Like basically it's like basically the structure is you have like German, like math, because they don't want a child to just be German. Then when they go into real class, they don't know any math.
Yeah.
They will have like 1 hour of English per week, and like I was in the like lower like kindergarten to like 4th grade part of the Aufnahme class, so we didn't have French yet. Okay. Also, we wanted some like entertainment, obviously, so we have like gym class, crafts, and then swimming, and I think that's all.
Yeah. Okay. And so did you ever join other classes, or was it pretty much all the activities in your integration, in your German Aufnahmeklasse?
We always stuck together in the same class, so like it's not like you had a bunch of different groups and you have to know those people, just like the small like class.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you, Jalen? Did you join other classes for anything, or was it just
in my class, we actually had 2 teachers. They would take turns. So like for example, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, one teacher would come, and then Tuesday and Thursday, the other teacher.
Okay.
And also we actually moved one time. So we were at one location and then we had to move to another one. And the second location, that's actually my school right now, Repugo.
Okay.
So we were actually in a side of Repugo that we never go to. Like since going to normal school, I haven't been to that area really.
Yeah.
And there we were kind of like isolated from the other kids. During break, we would go up, but then the other kids would just ignore us and we would ignore them.
Okay, yeah. So you were like,
this was
sorry?
And I thought it was really fun because in gym class, we could
Yeah.
basically vote ourselves what we wanted to do because we didn't have like certain things we had to do. And there were so few of us, we could just vote and everyone would have their chance to play something they wanted to play.
Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty cool. Excellent. So, I mean, how was that? Like, I can't even imagine how that must have been like after a year. I think, did you both stay for a whole year in that class, or how long was it?
I think I stayed for a little bit less than a year, and Max actually went to his school before me, right?
Yeah, I think I was one day before him.
Yeah.
It was like in April, and then I went out for like February, and then the sports break, I went into the Rio class. Like,
How was that? How was that, Max? Like, was it a bit of a shock to your system? Like, oh my God, you know, this is like real speed German, Swiss German, lots of new kids, like sort of everything in German. I mean, yeah, how was that? How was your first day? And your first week?
Well, my first day, luckily, the DOTS class, they would still make it, so I sometimes go into that class. So I knew the children, obviously. So the first class, I still felt a little alone because I didn't like really know anybody. Like, it kind of felt like I was starting the Aufnahmeklasse, just I knew German. Like, some of my kids still go to the Aufnahmeklasse, even though they still have some German experience. So, like, I still met with a friend that spoke really fluent English.
Yeah.
But then, like, later on, I like just got into only speaking German the whole entire class. Get some like other like friends, and that was like really good. One big difference from the Aufnahmeklasse into real class. In real class, they speak a lot of Swiss German, and also they do swear a lot.
Yeah, I heard that at Swiss schools. Yeah, the degree of swearing is, shall we say, slightly different than the level you would find at American school, or what might be tolerated. Yeah. Okay. So you swear like a trooper in Swiss German now.
No.
Good. Okay. Excellent. But yeah. Okay. So, Jalen, how was that for you? That must be a quite hard transition, or?
Yeah. When I came, there were first a couple of difficulties because actually some of my teachers were just teaching in Swiss German because they do that. Even though they're technically supposed to speak in German,
Yeah.
they speak in Swiss German while teaching. Even now they do sometimes, and then they have to sometimes remember, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be speaking in High German.
Yeah.
So there I had a lot of difficulties at first, but then they gradually started remembering to speak High German. And also, I realized no one here says Guten Tag, even though we said that all the time in the Aufnahmeklasse. Actually, here they always just say Grüezi.
Yeah.
And I'm still the only person in our class that says Auf Wiedersehen to the teachers.
And no one really uses that here.
No, they say adieu.
Yeah.
And yeah, it could have been really bad though, because when I first came, 2 or 3 weeks later, we had the pandemic and then remote learning.
Oh.
So I feel like it was really hard for me because now I had to deal with that and trying to figure out what everything meant.
Cool.
We also had a book report where we had to read a book and then write a report on it. But the book was all in German, so I had to read this whole book in German. And then we had to do a bunch of different exercises, answering questions and stuff. And then, because of Corona, we didn't even get a grade for it.
Oh, God. How annoying is that? So it must have taken you so much hard work to get it, and then you don't even get a grade for it.
Yeah, but I think it helped me because I practiced writing there, and
Yeah.
It helped me understand like the pace a little more.
I mean, like, what do you both say? Like, how long do you reckon it took you, or it took you to get to a level of German where you felt like you could comfortably follow a class or do assignments?
I think, well, I came during the Sportferien,
Yeah.
which was around February or March, like I said,
Uh-huh.
right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I think because of all that remote learning, I was only really comfortable, I think, after the summer break. So at the start of the new school year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's. And what about you, Max? How long did it take you to in that regular classroom to feel like sort of okay, yeah, that I kind of can follow now?
I would say actually when I started, I still felt not good by like after the summer break I started getting good. I only like spoke like English with my friend when I was still in the Aufnahmeklasse and transitioning for like an hour to the fourth grade. But then I like started like hanging out with the people that only speak like German and Swiss German, like basically they just communicate Swiss German.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And also like Jalen, like this is just only this class, actually two classes, crafts, Tete and swimming. They would sometimes speak in Swiss German, so it's like hard sometimes to show directions. But luckily in swimming, they have to show you how to do it. So that helps.
Yeah, well, that's true. Actually, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So, yeah, and Jalen, like, you actually did an amazing job getting. So you spent the year in the Aufnahme in the German integration class, then went to regular class, and then joined the upper secondary. I think I quickly have to explain how that works in Switzerland for those who don't know about the streaming. So in Switzerland, usually after sixth grade, children are streamed into different performance levels. So there are up to 4 levels. I don't know, in your area, is there Sek C as well, or is it just Sek A?
Yeah. I think there's 6C, but those are like really small classes. I think.
Yeah. So you actually, like in some parts of Switzerland, have up to 4 different performance level. One is the so-called gifted and talented level for the top 20% of students who go directly. It's the most direct route, by no means the only, but the most direct route into university. Then the second stream, and that's one Jalen joined, is the Sek A. That's the upper performance stream. That's a quite demanding stream, and it's a very good stream to be in because it gives you options. So you do that for 2 or 3 years, lower secondary. And after 2 years, usually students start then looking for either vocational training and apprenticeships, or they start preparing to sit the entrance exam to join the academic Gymnasium school at a later stage. But I would say Sek A is really very tough to get into, like with limited German. And I have supported a lot of international families over the years, and I really appreciate how what a good job it is, like to get straight into Sek A, because most students then would be streamed into the intermediate Sek B stream, which is not really the end of the world either, because you can still work your way up. So you can stay in that stream for a year, improve your German, and then still change over to the upper performance stream. So there's quite a lot of fluidity, but obviously being placed in the upper Sek A stream is quite an achievement. So how did you do that? And actually, like, it's not just that you're in the upper stream, but I think I've also heard that you are top of the class in many subjects, and even in German. So is that right? So tell us, like, what did you do? What's your secret?
I think it's because I really like learning those grammatical rules, like I said before.
Yeah.
And that really helped me, because it's like this: whenever a language is your native language, you don't really know the grammatical rules. You just know it sounds right. So I think that actually gave me, in a sense, an upper, like an advantage.
Yeah, German most definitely, because we both know that German grammar. Max, you know that German grammar is very, it's got a lot of rules. It's very logical, but it's quite different from English grammar, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'm supposed to like know if something's like going to an area to make it accusative, or it's being like stationary dative. So then, like for example, like there's like ending to some adjectives. So just like normally I just word out an e at the end of it to just make it sound right. So I call it sound dative. That's actually like an invention that my dad called.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Jaden, yeah, you definitely like having a good grasp of German grammar helps, but it's still like sort of you have to do all the subjects in German. So your level of understanding of German has to be very, very good in order to be able to really, yeah, I don't know, follow in class and do assignments. So how do you do that?
Well, sometimes I do use Google Translate at home when doing my homework.
Yeah.
And I think while in the Aufnahmeklasse, I was really like talking to my teacher. I really liked him. And of course, we were speaking in German, so I could ask, and because it was such a small class, I had time to just ask him these questions like, oh, why is this like this? For the rules or something. And he was just really nice. He helped us improve on all these types of different things.
Yeah. Okay. And Max, so yeah, listening to your German, because I heard you speaking German and videos, and yeah, I heard you. You really sound like a native. It's quite amazing. You even have that Swiss, when you speak German, High German, like you even have this like slight Swiss German accent. So that's yeah. So what's your superpower? How did you manage to learn German so quickly?
Well, like sometimes, like while learning a language, you have to have fun. So, like before my mom would make it so I have to. Part of my homework schedule when I get back home is watching German stuff on Netflix. Because Netflix conveniently has a lot of languages. Like I can even like watch stuff in Italian and French, which is really nice. So I could just watch that. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's so cool. And while you're like just learning these words, it just comes in naturally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that helped me too. Also, I think reading that one book where I didn't get a grade also really helped my vocabulary.
The book that you didn't get a grade for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, just what are your plans? Yeah. Well, your plans, but you're now in Sek Jalen, so you're in your second year of the 3-year lower secondary school. A lot of kids in your class are getting prepared to look for vocational training and apprenticeship jobs. Or they start looking for the entrance exam. So what are your plans for the future? Like sort of what would you like to do in the next years?
So I missed out on the Gymnasium exam.
Yeah.
That happened around the Sportferien time, so a year after I came. Of course, right when I came, I wasn't ready, because by summer break, they were already preparing for the exam next year.
Yeah.
So by then, I wasn't ready then. But now I think I'm actually I signed up for the Gymnasium, like help classes in school. So I'm going to try and do the test next year. But to sign up for the, what's that called, trial apprenticeship?
Yeah.
You need to sign up 1 year before that. So I'm gonna have to also do that now, because otherwise, if I don't make the exam, I would have to wait 1 more year before I can get an apprenticeship.
Okay, right. And so yeah, you're saying you're interested in IT, so you could either do try to get into an apprenticeship and do informatic science, or study at Gymnasium at the academic and then go to university. So what would be your preferred way like of doing that?
For me, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but I would prefer to go to Gymnasium.
Okay, right. Okay. Well, I don't know. I definitely keep my fingers crossed, and I think someone with your attitude, has a very good chance, because I think with Gymnasium, I know a lot of people tried, but it takes a lot of motivation and determination. And I think like sort of you have the quality. So I wish you the best of luck for that. And Max. So what are your plans? Sort of.
Oh my god. Well, Gymnasium, like I've heard from like one of my classmates that his brother goes into Gimme, well, like short version for Gymnasium, and it was like, oh, it's like from 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. every day. So I feel kind of stressed out. Like I feel like it's really serious for me. So I feel like I can just get into Sek A. My teacher said you're gonna get into Sek A no problem, which makes me happy so I can get into it really quickly.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So yeah, I think. But do you feel like confident? I mean, there are a lot of options in the Swiss system. Do you feel confident, like sort of whatever option you're going to be able to do what you want? You think it doesn't really matter whether you are in Gymnasium or do an apprenticeship, or do you feel like, okay, I'm sure there's something out there for me, or you're not quite sure?
Well, like I still feel like going to Sek A, but there's that part of that mind that I want to be that 20% going to Gimme, just to, like show it off that like I've only been like Switzerland by then, like it would be 3 years or so that I made it to Gimme.
Yeah. Okay, right, guys. I know the weather is actually gorgeous in Switzerland, and since we're all living close to a lake, that means we are living close to Badi, which is like for those who are planning to relocate to Switzerland, this is one of for me, the most amazing things about Switzerland is the Badi, so the Lido, where everywhere along the beach, you have beaches everywhere along the lake, and I think half of Switzerland is actually this afternoon because kids are off on Wednesday afternoon. So half of Swiss school kids will be at the lakes today. So the last question for you, like, what are your 3 top tips for kids who are, especially older kids relocating to Switzerland with no German? How can they get started? How can they be as successful as you are? What should they do? What shouldn't they do? Any tips? Jalen, you want to start?
Okay. This might just be me, but if you're an older kid, I think you'll be able to understand the grammar rules and stuff better.
Yeah.
Max, since he's so young, it's easier for him to just pick up on it.
Yeah.
But I think the grammar is really helpful.
Okay.
Another tip would be watch Netflix in German.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Entertaining, and also you're expanding your vocabulary.
Yeah.
I would watch German with German subtitles.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Because I find when I watch it with English subtitles, I just read the subtitles, or I don't listen well enough to what they're actually saying.
Yeah. Excellent. And so any clubs or anything like sort of kids should join, or?
I thought, so we downloaded a couple of apps to try and learn, but they mostly just focus on, like, they're mostly for adults, I feel like, with the business words and stuff, what you need to get around on the streets. But when you're a kid, you don't need to learn those words. You need to learn words like what you would use in the classroom and stuff like that, or during your free time. So I think just hanging out with Swiss people, or just trying to speak German with native German-speaking people is also really helpful. Just the repetition of hearing certain phrases.
Excellent. Yeah. Max, do you have any tips? Any top tips?
Well, I'm going to make them in order. My number 3 is, wait, I just forgot for a sec. Oh yeah, do not be discouraged that the teacher is only speaking German and you're not understanding. It's like, even though it's only speaking German and you don't understand anything, it doesn't mean you're never gonna learn German. Everything's hopeless. You just gotta stay concentrated, and eventually you'll pick it up. Like, also when I learned Mandarin, it was also all in Chinese. So, and now number 2, like, this is for learning any language, but look for them like parallel words, like words that are like similar in your language. Like there's a lot in French and English and German and English. For example, Schuhe, which means shoe in German, and shoe in English. So that's very helpful. And even if you guess wrong, you're still in the dots class. The teacher will correct it and tell you the right word. So it's not like you're talking to like someone like the president and you make a big mistake. You're so young.
Yeah. Don't forget, gift in German is Geschenk, not the German word gift, which means poison.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's so true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mac.
And now number one is that like part of learning a language is making friends, get them motivation, make it like fun, like talking to someone. Like if you get to know someone, talking to them, it's really good. Like I wouldn't just want to talk to just a random person practicing my German with them. I want to like meet someone, like get along with each other, like someone that like that has good hobbies, and it'll be fun, like motivate you. It's basically like they can both push you and like they can also teach you new words. So like that's my last tip.
Excellent. Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you're sacrificing a part of your fine summer free afternoon like to talk to me. So I'm gonna let you go. But lastly, I know you guys have this amazing YouTube channel and you have a lot of tips for other kids your age about like how to learn German, the Aufnahmeklasse, and about the Swiss school system. So can you give me the name, Max, of your channel?
Okay, so I'm going to put up a paper here so you can read it. It's
Maximus
Prime Presents.
Perfect. Maximus Prime Presents. And they're like whoever wants to learn something about Swiss school, and I think you also have an amazing video about like the difference between international school and local school. Is that right?
Yeah, that's our newest video.
So they could also find it there.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is also like probably where you can we can watch our interview.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay. Hey, thank you so much. That was brilliant. I keep my fingers crossed, and I wish you really all the best. But I know you're gonna get wherever you want to. So all the best for you, and thank you so much for this interview.